welcome to this new open session of the International Tarot course. I'm here again with Daniel Fernandes. I'm Joao Caldeira. I'm the founder of the International Tarot House with Rachel Pollack. And once again today we are bringing Rachel a small recording we did when she was here in Portugal. And it is a very interesting recording. We have, during these 7 years of existence, we've been doing a lot of recordings of important moments like these international tarot encounters some years ago when Rachel and other people like Lizette St. Croix and Vit Pramad and many others were here for this meeting, this large meeting. The idea of the International Tarot course and the International Tarot House is to bring people together. We are going to talk about tarot in different ways, with different perspectives, different approaches. And this is what is magnificent in terms of tarot. It's an art, and as an art, it allows us to be artists, to have our own conclusions about what the cards say. Tarot is universal. It belongs to the humanity. It belongs to the world. It's not a property of anyone. So, Danielle, today we are going to talk a little bit about Halloween, right?
Correct. Hello, everyone. Welcome again. Today is Halloween for you guys. For us, it's it's not so pleasant. It's the Death Day. It's the day in Portugal that we pay our respects to the people who has died already. So for you, it's the scary moment. For us, it's a respect moment. But I believe that when we play with all of this, all becomes art as the tarot, and all things have their own place in our hearts. So for those who are remembering today the dead ones, the loved ones, the ones who have already departure, well, I hope that your heart is full of happiness memories. For those who today it's a day of party, fun, candies, scaries. I just wish you to have fun. Back to you, Joao.
Yes. Death is this card, this tarot card, the Death card, is quite interesting because we are going to talk about it since we are talking about Halloween. And the Death card in some decks is the no-name card. It has no name because actually it's not totally about dying, about the death of the body. It's also about transformation, about changing ourselves, about changing the world. It's a beautiful card, but also a scary one. So that's why we are talking about it this evening here in Portugal, and probably still daylight in other countries. Here we are already in the night of Halloween. So I have with me some cards on this table where death is seen different ways, is seen in different ways. So just let me see if I can show you these cards. I'm just trying to find here the right position for the cameras. Not always easy. Okay, here it is. So sound for me. So I was saying no sound. It's something that is sometimes happening here. Is for a moment losing sound. I was saying that this tarot card, the Death card, can be peaceful, can be somehow frightening, although there's a light here, can be frightening, and can be something like in this tarot, the tarot, the Gaian tarot, created by Joanna Paul Colbert, and she is also a member, an honorable member of the International Tarot House as Lizette St. Croix. And in this deck, we can see a river and some junk on earth, on these margins of the river, and we can see that death is putting away things that are junk in our lives, suffering, some suffering that we don't need anymore, these memories of pain, these old things that we think we are guilty, and so we just leave them behind, because otherwise they will become what some people call karma. So we bring back things that we didn't solve in other lives or in other countries or in other situations, because this death can mean someone who is going to another country, to another job. It's a softer mean, but somehow the life can change when we go to a very different place, and that can be a chance to be brighter, to be more happy, a new chance in our life, a second chance, as some people say. So we can have a second chance in love, we can have a second chance in a job, we can have a second chance in life, and that's somehow being doing some sort of rebirth, and being more pure, more open, more alive again. Danielle, what is your opinion?
Well, it's funny because sometimes people ask me if the numbers, why is the tarot card death? Why does it not have the number 9, the hand number? And I normally smiled back to the people and said, death is not the end, it's a transformation. So we cannot look into death as the end. So if we look into the numbers of the card, we've got a 13, 1, 3. The number 3 for me, for ancestology, is the number of the newborn. So when two people become together, they can create a new human being, a child. So number 3 is the opportunity for the newborn. So if we've got 1 and 3 together, the 1, it's ourself, myself. So I have the opportunity for a new reborn. So if I just make the match between 3 and 1, 1 plus 3 makes 4. And in ancestology, number 4, it goes straight to the mind. And the mind is the tool. I normally say it's the tool of the spirit. It's how the spirit talks with us, with the soul. Okay? So how does the soul transmit her information into the mind, into the brain? So she uses the mind. So what we've got here is a perfect representative of an opportunity that we have to think about things we did, and they no longer are good for us. So we have opportunity to, I'm going to use a strong word, to kill, okay? To put an end into something it's no longer useful for us. Exactly the card that we are seeing right here with the river and all this junk around. So it's no more useful. So if it's not more useful, why are we keeping and why do we keep on insisting in things that they are no longer good for us? And sometimes the life, the universe, it comes like, okay, it's time for you to realize, it's time for you to put an end in something. So this is what death talks about. It not talks about, of course, we can talk about tarot card death as a human death, as a body death, and absolutely we can also look into other tarot decks, and they will talk to us on many different ways, as João said. But the main thing is, as João was saying, we can reach the pure through the tarot deck. Actually, it's an invitation. If you look around the normal tarot decks of the card death card, it always talks about how can you regret what you did and how can you become a better person. That's why it comes exactly straight away the temperance. So she comes to show you that you can be better, things can be better, life can be better. So we don't have to choose this path that makes us the sacrifice as the hangman. We have a choice. We have an opportunity. The universe, it's not just castrating us. It's giving us an opportunity. Sometimes it's not easy for us to make a change. It's not easier for us to be in the death situation, the death transformation, because we are afraid, we are frightened. Sometimes we can't see the light that João was talking about, but she's there. We just have to believe. We just have to think that I'm walking from the one, myself, into the three. The three is also the solutions. So if I have faith enough, the solutions will be there. And they will come up into my mind. I will be able to find a solution. I will be able to organize myself, to reborn again. Back to you, João.
Okay. Okay. Uh, and I don't have sound again. Um, it's interesting because when we are doing these broadcastings in English, we are somehow doing something of what we are talking about here during this hour, is changing a little bit to another side, to a different position in the world, and that brings new difficulties and new possibilities as well. And that is what is amazing in terms of the fear of death and the brightness of death, because we are just changing our patterns, our ways of doing things, and as we do that, we are also again experience a little bit of the card of the Fool that is present during all these new sessions in terms of the International Tarot course, because this breathing new life, this receiving new life, has to do with not knowing what that means. It means that we are hoping, we are having lots of expectations, great expectations. There's a story of Charles Dickens about great expectations, this expression that it means a lot of what we are experiencing. We have great expectations because we hope to go to a different environment with a new spirit as well. Because if we don't go with a new spirit, we take our ghosts with us. That's why somehow in Halloween there's all these masks of ghosts and vampires and all these fearful creatures. They are a sort of exorcism we do in Halloween. As we face these terrible images, these horrible creatures, we are doing an exorcism in terms of death. We are showing that we can have no fear, that we can accept these new possibilities without fear, because here we are facing these horrible masks and horrible things, and we are brave, and we go around walking during the night, and it's a ritual that humans need. It's very human. We do these rituals because they are very connected with the card of the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is very, very connected with the number 13. It's the 12, right? So the Hanged Man is I'm jumping into life. I'm jumping into what I want to do in life, what I want to accomplish with life, my mission. And if I feel that I accomplished my mission, I'm able to go through death with peace. But if I think I've done wrong and I expect to go to hell, if I expect to go into more pain, then I'm terribly afraid. So that's why some people go and climb mountains. If you have in your minds the image of people climb mountains, they usually use ropes as well, so they can be hanged and safe somehow. Or when they do jumping, they jump from an airplane, they do sky jumping, right? So it's challenging. One way or the other, we are challenging death, and we are proving that we can face it, that we have no fear, that we can accept it. And as death is a mysterious card, that's why somehow I was telling you before that it was the card with no name, because we don't know it, we don't know what it is really. So when we jump from an airplane, when we climb a mountain, when we go and do jumping into the water, we are somehow working a little bit with our fantasies about death. And it's very, very common in terms of therapy to tell people, imagine a nice lake of beautiful waters, warm waters, and go and enter in these waters and clean your pains, clean your soul, because it's an image of death, to be purified by water and by earth. And as Danielle was telling you, that has to do with the mother thing, the going back to the mother and rebirthing. The number 1, the magician, and then the 3, the empress. That's the 13. Okay, the 12 was handling the past life things, what we bring to accomplish. The number 1, the magician, I, and the number 2, the popes, the popes, that is someone who deals with ancient memories, ancient things that happened to us, maybe in other lives, maybe in our infancy, and that we are bringing to solve when we grow up. And so the 1 and the 2, and maybe it's not just a coincidence that Hercules had 12 jobs, 12 things to do in terms of purify himself. The oracle told him he had 12 things to do, and the number of the hanged man. So when we do this, and we are doing something like the work of the hanged man and the work of death today, Halloween, proving that we can be safe. We can be safe facing death with no ghosts, because ghosts only exist in our minds. They don't really exist, so we don't have to be afraid. And if we show that we are not afraid, it's because that is true. That is our reality. Many societies, many old societies, have rituals when a young man passes from youth to adulthood. They jump from a tower hanged by their feet. Sometimes they really die because it doesn't work so well. So that's what happens sometimes with climbing mountains. Sometimes people die doing that. Sometimes jumping from an airplane. But it's something that many of us need. Some of us strongly than others. They need to prove. They need to do that. They do to do that jumping. So Halloween is a very nice way of doing that, because it's a party. It's a celebration. And celebration is always great. So we have some laughs, we have some joy, and we have some candies, and death becomes something we can deal. We can deal with it, and it's amazing because we feel afterwards we can feel refreshed, we can feel better, and so that's why we have so interesting rituals sometimes in our life, like Christmas and the Eastern Bunny and the Eastern. So they're all important moments when we face fears, needs, and we find ourselves. We have opportunities of finding ourselves better, in a brighter way. So I'm just saying this so you can really enjoy Halloween and take and knowing that you are doing a great thing without knowing you are doing so. Halloween is great. That's why it's good to be imported to Portugal, because we did not have Halloween before, but it's good to have it here too, because it can help us as well facing these things of death and rebirth, and our ghosts, to face our ghosts and get out of it well and stay well and be well. Danielle.
Thank you, Joao. Joao, I'm just going to rewind a little bit, because this is really interesting.
Okay.
This
Can you be a little bit louder?
That you have. I was saying that I'm just going to rewind a little bit, because this is really interesting. The picture that you have shown us, Christ being baptized This is also symbolize the death of Christ in such a in certain way. There are people here saying that we are not. The sound is not. Is it now? Is it okay? The sound?
It's not too loud. It's but it's we can. I think people are listening, but.
Okay, I was saying that in the picture of Christ, and going back a little bit again, it's amazing how this picture also shows us the death of Christ between commas, of course, because he dies in this moment, in this ritual moment. He dies as a human being, and he reborns as a new spirit inside of a body. So this is really interesting to study the cards from the hangman through death, through the temperance, because if we look into Christ, if we take the example of Christ, well, he sacrificed himself as a spirit. He has born inside a body. He has experienced all this limitation that a body can bring into a spirit. So the spirit is free and is no use to limitations. And this is somehow how the hangman tells us that life, it doesn't have to be hard, but we have to realize that in life, so we can experience life, we must experience the limitations. And through death, we can release those limitations. Through death, we can grow up. Inside, the spirit can grow up inside of a body because he is killing time to time limitations. So frontiers are growing, and when when the spirit really ascends to the temperance, then there is a new challenge. It comes the devil. So Christ was tempted because he reborn in the temperance, and suddenly he was facing the next card, which is the devil. So he was facing his temptations. Like, for example, somehow the tarot cards here are telling us this, are talking to us about the cycle of life. Life is all about this. How do I sacrifice myself in life? How do I release myself in death? Okay, by putting through a past things that are no longer useful to me. How can I open my conscience in the temperance? How can I reborn myself? And after this, people think that everything is going to be okay. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's time for us to be tempted and to tell to ourselves, yes, I am ready, really ready to make this change. So that was Christ, what Christ told us about. He was ready to make this big change. So this is really interesting, this image, because it talks about the fool, of course. The fool is right there. The passion. The passion of Christ by coming into the world, into a body through the hangman. Now he has to die. He has to die as a common person, and he has to reborn as a new person. So this is the ritual of the baptism. So he dies right there, and he reborns again. So this is really beautiful. Thank you, Joao. I was not expecting this picture, but this was really nice.
But it's interesting because what we are saying brings us to really deeper things, and also it's interesting because there are some people here that are watching us, and they are asking us to tell them something about their fortune in life, and not just listening what these these concepts of tarot have to tell them about life. But yes, we are going to take one of two cards just for closing in a little bit this session. But as you were saying, you brought something that is so powerful and so interesting. You provoked me without knowing it, but you were a little devil provoking me, because the devil card it's a very interesting card. When as you were saying it beautifully, because through death we are reborn and we accept our spiritual side, and we go to the last line of tarot, the last 7 cards. The Temperance is the last of the 2nd level, and then we go to the 3rd level and the last level, the spiritual, the more spiritual, because they are all spiritual, but the last one brings us more awareness of our spirituality. And is interesting when you said that Christ was going to be tempted by the devil, right? Yes. And what is to be tempted by the devil? Is this devil an entity, some sort of a being? Maybe. But it's also ourselves, right? When we are tempted to go beyond our frontiers but in the wrong way, not accepting what we are, because we had to accept that when in the Hanged Man, we had to accept that. And then we were purified and we are accepted back. Saint John the Baptist, it's very interesting. We are not just talking here about religions, it's not, but the metaphors that are there. And after this Temperance, there is the devil. The number that comes afterwards is the number of the devil. But I have here another postal from an ancient painting, when we see Christ saving the persons who are ill, and that's something that I dare. This is a daring. I'm not saying devil is Christ. No, it's these cards have different angles. When we see the temptation and the power of temptation, that means I want to be more than what I am. I want to use all my power to destroy others. And then again, what I'm destroying is myself and the opportunity of having really pleasure in life. Because paradise alone, to be alone in paradise, is something that's maybe not so pleasant. We can conquer paradise just for ourselves, and then we are alone.
Exactly, like the devil.
So, sorry?
I was saying exactly like Adam and Eve. He felt alone.
Like Adam. Because Eve was the end of the lowliness of Adam, right?
Exactly. I was saying like Adam and Eve because Adam was feeling alone, so he needed something.
Yes. And so there were problems. But problems brought sense to life. And here on this image we can see a man who is doing miracles, but he's doing miracles because he can, and those miracles continue the work of temperance, that is the work of solutions, because temperance is mixing energies, waters, energies, and giving solution. And so here the 15 is using that work and keeping that work and putting in service of people, doing miracles. Because somehow what we say about the devil is somehow that he also does miracles. He also changes our lives. He does bad things to all of us. And in many religions, there's, for instance, the jinns in the Muslim religion. I think that there are entities that live among us, but they are revolted because they are submitted to our limitations, because they are at the same level, and so they take their revenge on us. They do bad things to humans.
No sound.
No sound. No, now I have sound.
We're back again.
Now I have sound. I can see it. Sometimes I forget to see the little bar there. But so the devil can be the doctor, the healer, the person who accepts life and works with the forces of life, accepting the divinity on earth. And as people were asking us to make some divination here, and divination has to do with the divine, somehow they are asking us to be some sort of devils, and to do some sort of miracles, and not just being the Popes, the high priestess that know things, but somehow many people that comes to a tarot reading, they expect their lives to change for the better, not just to be what it is supposed to be. They expect it to change for the better, so they expect us to be more like devils and to do miracles and join our forces with the Popes, the high priestess, and do these magical things. And it's human, because the devil is very, very human, and I prefer to call it the angel on earth or divinity on earth, because it's the last session and the other one before, I was telling you about the importance of words. When we call it the devil, we are in a dead end. We cannot go much more. Cannot do much more, because devil is such a strong word. It's so difficult to handle that word that it's devil. But if we call it the angel on earth, we can understand it better. We can understand that an angel on earth, it's a difficult thing, and it can bring rebellion, as in the devil, or it can bring the divine, as in Christ, and others, the saints, the miracle people. And it's a very important card, because it says that we can use our energy to have pleasure, to give energy to others, to give health to others, to give health to ourselves, not just wealth, but health, to be well, to feel well. And it's a card of understanding boundaries. So it's not so easy, because it's when we say, I would like to be in heaven, and maybe we are connected to heaven, but we must still accept to be on earth. Otherwise, we will be suffering or doing very bad things. We'll go using drugs, we'll go being workaholics, we'll be a lot of holics, and we won't be happy, and we won't be on our way to heaven. Not at all. No, we won't let the others be, and we won't be ourselves on the way to heaven. We're going to create illusions, masks, and very, very bad things, manipulation, very bad things. So the way we use divination It's very important. It's not just being here and be in contact with heaven and saying things that actually they did not happen yet. Maybe we can say everything is in the present, God knows everything, and so on and so on. But they are maybe bad lies or good lies. They can help us or they can hurt us because we don't know yet. If it didn't happen, it's not yet truth. It may become. But then when it doesn't become real, we say, oops, future changes. Future is always changing. If it's real, it's say, we are great tarot readers. We are doing great divination. And that's how we manipulate it. Little big devils doing our work and sometimes doing it well, helping people, just even saying lies or possible lies or truth. Because it's when we start facing that things, because we are going to start to face truth with the tower, with the star, we are going to face very different ways of facing bigger truth. But that's something that we are going to talk a little bit better in other sessions. And just talking a little bit. Danielle.
Well, I will just say a few words more, and we will put our attention into the people that is requesting our help somehow. Those ones who want to know their fortune, their present fortune. Well, Joy, this is very interesting because I do not want to offend anyone. Please pay attention to this. But all of us, we are devils, and this is why the devil card for me is the wish maker. So if we are stepping into physics quantics, where they say that all possibilities can be manifested, the only thing that we have to do is to choose. Then what we do most in the devil is we choose our wishes. So we wish things. We wish a lot of things. So Christ, when through this picture that you were saying very well, that he was doing miracles. So he became the wish maker in the world. So he was playing both papers. He was playing the pure spirit, and he was also paying attention into the pain of the people. He was paying attention to the hangman of the people. So somehow he became the devil between commas, and please do not misunderstand me. He became the devil between commas because he was making wishes to people. He was being that person that you could ask him something and he was giving it to you. So the card of the devil talked to us about this. How do we wish things? Sometimes we wish them very hard and we become obsession with it. And you were talking about drugs and everything. Of course. But we are all devils in this world because we are all angels asking the world to give us something. We need something. So we need something to improve ourselves. We need something to grow up. We need to conquer, not conquer countries, we need to conquer our life. So in this particular moment, I don't know if people do realize that they are being the devil, but we are the devil. We are the card of the devil. We are the card of this angel in earth. Exactly when we put our intention into something, we are putting our wishes. So it's no way to escape from this. So sometimes when we embrace the devil card, we became more true people, because as you were saying, sometimes people do not like to touch on their dark side because it's not beautiful. It's not nice. So we just keep it there. So, but the card of the devil, he makes us to pull out this dark side, because at least exactly with us, okay, and I'm going to pick up again on the numbers. On the number 14, it's my thoughts, inside thoughts. So I have the thoughts to myself. I don't tell anyone what my thoughts are about. So exactly right here inside of my head, I am facing myself in the darkness and in the light. And sometimes there comes the devil with the wish. So I want to wish things. So in this picture, for example, Christ, he wished to show other persons, other people on earth, that it was possible to be reborn. It was possible for other persons to do what he was doing. So somehow he was also tempting those persons, because everyone was surprised what he was able to do. I believe that even today there are a lot of people trying to, I don't say they are trying to be Christ, of course not, but somehow there is this little wish inside people, would it be so nice if I could make a miracle? Well, this would be incredible. We look into miracles every day. We look into miracles when we are desperate, when we are on the hangman. So instead of we facing the problem in death, we just wish that the temperance would come as the Christ came, and he was just healing something. He was just putting a hand into my suffering. So this is really interesting, that the devil card, for me, it's one of the best in the whole deck, because if you go a little bit forward into the card, you can see that this is the card that talks about your capacity to realize things on earth. Your capacity for your wish become true. So if you wish a house, it is on the devil that you have this opportunity. If you wish a car, it is on the devil that you have this opportunity. Because if your intention is not strong, if your faith is not strong, well, believe me, sorry, but you will not be able to get there. So I don't know if you want to step on now, João.
I'm going just to say it's very interesting. We could go on and on forever, but remember that many of the miracles are sort of rebirth for the ones who receive them, and they could have a chance of accept them or not. But that's something that we'll talk in another time. So we are going to just take one or two cards, but first, as we were talking about this divination, I'm going to give some minutes here to Rachel Pollack, for her to talk a little bit about what is divination for her. So I hope this time it works, the sound works well, but if it doesn't, we'll see. We have to say, except that we are going to say goodbye right away. If otherwise, we are going to be back here and to take some cards for you that are waiting for those cards, and ask you something very, very important. Share or like. If you do really like, if you write these emissions, if you think they bring something to you, share and put your like. That it's really important. It's something that it's manifest, that you can touch, that you can feel. It's a miracle somehow, because there is an importance in these apparently small miracles, but do that if you like, not because we ask you so you can just pay for a reading. The readings, a good tarot reading, needs sometimes some amount of time and some connection. What we are doing here is some inspiration, small inspirations that are useful and good, but they don't take the place of a reading. That's different. Okay? So let's give Rachel some space. This is something that she told us here in Portugal when she was here some years ago. And sometimes I continue to talk with Rachel, and we remember all these important things once again and again in different ways. So let's give her some space.
I'll say that everybody has intuition, and what stops people is the fear of being wrong.
Aquilo que a Rachel diz é que todos nós temos intuição, mas aquilo que nos impede de avançar, que nos faz parar, é o medo de estar errado, de nos enganarmos.
So if you just allow yourself to react, to look at the picture and see what comes to you, then that's your intuition. And don't worry about whether or not it's the right thing or the wrong thing.
E, portanto, devemos apenas dar a nós próprios a oportunidade de deitar as cartas, olhar para os desenhos e, por isso, simplesmente deixar-nos levar pela nossa intuição, porque isso nunca estará errado, é apenas aquilo que a nossa intuição nos está a dizer e ela será verdadeira.
And this happens to me often when people come to me for readings. I'll say to someone, "Are you having trouble with your husband?" And she says, "I'm not married."
E, portanto, isto acontece muitas vezes até em consultas que dou, em que digo a alguma cliente, mas está a ter algum problema com o seu marido, e a resposta é, mas eu nem sequer sou casada.
So, but it's important to take a chance to say what you see, what comes to you, and then to willing to say, okay, so it wasn't that, it's something else, and then go on.
Mas é importante de efetivamente aproveitarmos a oportunidade e aceitarmos o desafio, dizermos aquilo que a nossa intuição nos manda dizer e se errarmos, aceitar isso com naturalidade, porque não tem mal nenhum.
And everyone who reads tarot cards in a kind of intuitive or psychic way, they also always, worry about being wrong.
E mesmo aquelas pessoas que jogam tarot de uma forma muito mais instruída, também nem sempre estão certos e também se enganam, portanto, mesmo quem mais sabe pode errar.
I know a woman who's a psychic and a tarot artist, and she always tells me about readings that she does, in which she says something amazing.
Eu conheço uma mulher que é psychic, eu não sei como traduzir. É vidente, exatamente, e também lê tarot, e muitas vezes conta-lhe histórias que são extraordinárias, onde estas situações também acontecem.
And when she tells the story, she always says that she told the person, "I don't know where this comes from. I don't know why I say this."
E ela conta-me que muitas vezes se vira para as pessoas e diz, olha, eu não sei por que razão eu estou a dizer isto e de onde vem o que eu estou a dizer.
Yeah. So even a famous psychic will feel that they have to say what I'm saying is strange.
E mesmo, portanto, o que prova que até mesmo uma vidente muito conhecida tem a noção de que aquilo que muitas vezes diz é estranho.
Yeah. So that's how you have intuition. You just let yourself do it. You don't stop yourself.
E é desta forma que nós temos intuição. É simplesmente dar-nos a nós próprios a oportunidade de fazer sem nos bloquearmos a nós próprios, sem nos impedirmos de avançar.
Yeah. And one last thing about that, it's also okay to use the book.
E também é preciso, no último tópico, é preciso ter em linha de conta que está certo e não tem qualquer problema em usarmos um livro como apoio.
Because when I started reading tarot cards, I knew nothing. So I had cards and I had a book. And I would put a card down and I would look it up in the book.
Portanto, porque quando eu próprio comecei a fazer leituras de tarot, eu também não sabia nada e então, por isso, simplesmente, cada vez que tirava uma carta, pousava a carta e abria o livro e lia a definição da carta.
And those were amazing readings.
E foram leituras extraordinárias.
My friends would say, "Oh, will you read my tarot cards?" And I said yes, and they were all having affairs. It's true.
Os meus amigos pediam para eles fazer leituras e eu fazia e eles ficavam deslumbrados porque eles estavam todos envolvidos em relações extraconjugais.
And there were lots of other stories, but for each of those readings, I just used the book. So always feel it's okay to look up a card you don't understand.
E tenho muitas mais histórias, mas em todas essas leituras eu acabei por usar o livro e é bom que se percebam que isso não tem qualquer problema. E dão leituras mesmo assim muito interessantes.
So, we are here again. We heard Rachel, and now we are going to do some small readings, very very small readings. But I want to say something that is important. We talked today about the death card, cleaning things, and one of the things that we need to clean is these expectations of we are just going there to listen to what is our future. No, the tarot is so much more. It's really co-creating the future, as we were talking about the devil card that I prefer to call the angel on earth, because we can co-create the future, we can really do miracles, and that's going that's the real way of going beyond what we think that are our frontiers, because we go beyond our beliefs and our ghosts, and we do things that somehow other people did not believe. The lack of faith that Danielle was talking about. So I'm just going to pick someone, and hoping these conversations help to transform and to change and to help people to believe more about their power and to listen more, to be more in touch, because this is a miracle. The be more in touch has to do with the temperance, to connect, and when we are connecting we can do miracles. Okay, so let me see. I have here Maria Alexandra. Maria Alexandra, 2 cards for you, 2 inspirations for you, Maria Alexandra. So the Moon, very interesting card, and the High Priestess. 2 very interesting cards for this point of our conversation, and for you, and even for the audience, because this touches all the audience. So let's go and see a little bit more about these cards. The moon is a card that has to do, for some people, with ghosts and werewolves and witches, because it's one of the cards, as the angel on earth is one of the cards that talks about to be anguish, to be afraid, to feel lost, to be a lunatic, and it also tells us to be in contact with bigger truth, maybe, who knows, with God. But the moon is a sort of a portal that protects us from energies that we could not understand all of a sudden, and that would destroy us. So the moon is not, something is not going to happen. No, it will happen, but it will happen in the proper time, when we are ready, when we are prepared, when our spirit, our mind, our body is able to accept. And when we reach that point, we start receiving signs. Sometimes something we read on a board somewhere, or something we listen, or something we see on television, and makes all the sense and help us go and solve our things, because we are now open to these messages, and we can understand them without being destroyed or without becoming crazy, because the moon can be very, very strong and can be very, very powerful in terms of positive help. So for you, Alexandra, what I'm telling you is be patient, open to what the universe will bring to you in the proper time. Things are not so difficult or impossible to understand and to solve, because it's a question of accepting and receiving, not forcing. And I leave Danielle, before we talk about the High Priestess.
The High Priestess. Well, sometimes people just look into the moon as an emotional card. The moon is not only an emotional card. The moon is the number 18. So it means that on the 18, you are ready to start building something. So you are ready to materialize something in your life. And sometimes when we are confronted with the possibility to build something, the fear, it shows up. So the questions normally comes into our interior, into our brain, and we start with all these questions. Am I right? Am I wrong? Is it possible? Am I doing the right thing? So the moon talks to us all about this and absolutely touches our emotions, but it is time for you in the moon to realize that this is whatever it's going on in your life. I don't know what's going on in your life, but whatever it's going on in your life, it's related with the higher priests, of course. But please be aware that it's time for you to settle down your fears and pay attention of what do you really want to be. Okay? Do you want to build a relationship? Do you want to build a new job? Do you want to build something in your life? It's time for it. But it's also time for you to face your fears. What it's really, really, really pushing you back into into your manifestation. Are you afraid to manifest something? So this is a question that the card is putting into you, into your life. Are you really ready to go forward with this new building, this new opportunity? Because if you are really, really like, yes, I do want to do this, well, then just go for it, because 1 and 8, it's a 9. So you will go until the end. You can have this opportunity. If you do not face your fears, well, then, I'm sorry to say, but it's like, it also tells us, the 9, it also tells us, if I'm not facing my fears, well, it ends here, the opportunity. It's like, okay, this was a good dream, but it was only a dream, nothing more than that. So, right here, right now, I'll just say this to you. Just face your fears, just look into you. What are you really, really afraid in your life right now? Okay, so back to you, João. Let's talk about
and that has to do somehow with the devil as well, because we had to face it before, and if he didn't, now it's terrible. It's really terrible, because we don't have patience. We don't have so be patient. You are in a boat in life, and accept it, because this boat is going to help you as well. You do your own thing and the boat will help you. It's a connection with God, as I was saying, or a connection with the universe. I believe that's maybe some people say that this universe, we should not count with it. We don't. We do our work, and whatever universe is there, it will help. It's making peace with the universe. So it's very peaceful card. That's why the nights with moonlight are so pleasant, and they have to do with love and people in love and so on. And now the High Priestess says that you bring a great knowledge, so that you don't have to know it, to have everything on your head. You have a great knowledge, and that great knowledge can help you. So if you don't have fear, if you are getting having peace with yourself, finding peace with yourself, the knowledge that you have, the good knowledge that we have, it will help you also in the proper time. So the universe and your good knowledge are joining together in this moment. So profit. It's not just in your head, it's also knowledge that comes, who knows from where, but it is there. You can count, you can have faith. Although people don't talk too much about the moon card as a card of faith, it has faith too. It is not just the star, but the moon card has to do with some faith as well. So, Danielle, and we have just one more person.
Okay, so once again, the High Priest, it's the number 2. So it means whatever is going on in your life, it's something about how do you relate yourself with something. So you and something else will become 1 in the 2. So 1 plus 1 becomes 2. So what it's saying here is whatever you are trying to embrace, there is an invitation for you to look into your fears, because you do have the knowledge, you do have the wisdom to face this fear. So the invitation is, please do not follow the path of the fear. Please do not follow the path of the emotion. Please be wiser. Okay, so whatever you are going to do, whatever these cards are related into your life, some people in the 2 say immediately, well, this can be a relationship. No, this doesn't to be a relationship. It's when you are in connection with something that you say, this is mine. So for example, I'm in front of the computer, so I say, it's my computer. So myself and the computer, we are 2. So I just hope that I can be able to pass you the message. Whatever you are trying to say, this is mine, you have the wisdom, okay, to just face your fear and go forward. Because on the other hand, you've got 1, 8 plus 2. So this makes 9, 11. So the 11 also talks about the new ideas and the pride. Well, when you receive, sorry, I'm missing the word right now, so sorry for that. But when you receive a premium for your ideas, your commitment. So if you do really commitment into this situation, you will get there. Back to you, João.
Yes. So what we are going to do now is something maybe not so common, but somehow the International Tarot House, this project, intends to open our perspective of tarot, and we are joining here other disciplines and making all the horizon we have a larger horizon, a more beautiful one as well. That something has to do with the Fool as well. We talked so much about him, because in this first season of the International Tarot course, this first season is the 0 season, is the pilot season, the zero season, not just the first episode of this tarot course, but all these episodes are from the zero season. And it's important, we are experienced, we are opening our hearts, we are opening our perspectives. And now what we are going to do is, I'm going to look at here on the monitor I have on this side, that's why I'm looking constantly to my left side, and choose one person, and this person will be somehow sort of represent the audience. The reading, the two cards reading won't be just for her, it will be especially for her or for him, but it will be for the audience as well, because we are all somehow participating in this energy of this Halloween, that is a very special night to be in touch with our deeper self, with our super conscience and our infra conscience and everything. It's a beautiful night for having larger consciences of the world. So I'm going to take a look and see someone, and let me see, give me a moment. So it's Philippa. I think I saw her name before. It's Philippa. It's the name I see here first. And so Philippa, you'll be somehow a sort of medium. What we are doing for you will be a bridge to other people as well. And that is something that we can do. And we do that in psychotherapy, and this really happens in psychotherapy, in group therapies. Is very important. It's important everywhere when people are growing together, and we are growing together. So let's take two cards for you, Philippa. So the first card is the Guardian of Earth. In other decks, it's not a man, it's a woman. It's the Queen of Pentacles. So this Guardian of Earth, or Queen of Pentacles, is the first card for you, and then the second one, and for the audience, and the second one is the Ace of Hair, not hair that I don't have much, but the hair, the spades. So we have here this first card, and this time Danielle, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, the Queen of Pentacles, normally I consider this card as the Snow White, okay? Because it is expected to her to embrace the nature, to embrace life, and to be in a real balance with nature. So this is really nice what this deck is showing to us. There is a man inside a cornfield, if I'm not in a mistake, because the image is not so needed. So I do believe there is a man inside a cornfield, but it talks to us in the true essence. It talks to us on the same way. How the real message is, okay, let us all be in balance with nature. Okay, so when we are in balance with the world, when we are in true balance, we can talk, we can have new ideas. This is why the Ace of Air, of Space, of Swords. So we've got new ideas. Even the universe, the world, talk to us. So I believe there is a true invitation right here for all the group which is with us today, right now. Like, please do pay attention to the message that the world is passing to us, and what kind of ideas that we can bring, new ideas, brilliant ideas we can bring into the world. So we can be the Snow Whites of this world if we all talk, but most of all, the most important, if we pay attention to the signs that the world is giving to us. So the question today for you is, and sorry to put it this way, are you in balance with the world? I'm going to put this question to myself also, because these two cards also involve myself, because they touch me, because I belong to the group. So I will put this question also into my interior. Am I in balance with the world? Will I be able to explore the message that the world is giving to us? Well, I hope so. I hope that today's what we are doing. I hope this new project can bring us some balance with the world, can bring us some new ideas that we can all embrace well, and we can all be together around this new project. Back to you, Joao. Thank you.
Yes, and it's really important, this balance, and it's very interesting because we have here this man who is taking care of Earth, of their own things, the plants, the things that he planted. And it's a card that also means to take care of ourselves, the things we like, the people we like, the things we created and we helped to grow. And then we have the Ace of Swords, and saying that to open our communication to everyone around, to open ourselves, to open our minds, to talk about things, and it's interesting because you can say, oh, they cheated. They put those cards because it was so it had to do with what they are saying. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. We didn't, and something very, very important is trust, and trust is connected to faith naturally. And here in this International Tarot House, we are building some trust, faith, because otherwise we cannot go on. It's impossible. Wars are started because there's no faith, there's no trust. And so this thing that we were asking before, talk to your friends, open the frontiers, because Facebook only spreads these broadcasts to people that are Portuguese language, Portuguese, I believe. And so there's somehow up to you. I've been seeing that some of you are not living here in Portugal, are in England or United States. So bring this work to other people. You can do it. You are the ones who can do it. And the ones that are really important to do it, because it means different. It means it's something more profound and more interesting done by you because you liked it, because you enjoy and you talk to your friends and to people you know, and so that's more important than just going around and just doing publicity. And people that don't look at it because they have enough of publicity and so on. So we believe more in terms of faith, trust, connection, and actually I really hope that next time we can have here someone new, someone I met some days ago, someone who is from Brazil but is living in the United States, and I hope she'll be able to talk to us here, to be present, even if just in a recording, because it is important to know about the experience of different people in different worlds, sometimes facing different cultures, and that's amazing, that's beautiful. So this is our goodbye for now, and hoping that will bring more people from our tribe, our soulmates. Soulmate is an expression that we'll be talking in future sessions. Soulmates or twin souls. What is this? Twin souls or soulmates? We will be talking about this. Danielle.
Bye-bye.
I leave you with my love. Bye-bye. Love for you. Big hugs. And see you soon. Talk to you soon again. Bye-bye.